Sweet is the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. When where my fathers died, land of the hills high, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
By Vice President O'Brien.
Let us pray. First of all, I want to thank the Lord for the good food we have and the fellowship that we have, and also for all the good things that we do. Let us continue in that light, and let us be happy every day, especially today because it's a nice day.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Excuse me. Amen.
Now, Greg, would you also give us the secretary of attendance?
Sure, my pleasure. And again, it's so nice to have many new faces here with us today. Past President Bob, would you do a brief introduction of the guest and speaker at your table?
Absolutely. Yes, here is Steve Bulpett. He's our guest speaker today. Murray will give you a formal introduction shortly.
Thank you, Bob. And Past President Dan,
Yes, I'm very pleased that we have two guests at our table. Our almost Lexington Rotarian, Sharon Spaulding, and our previous Rotarian, who's back for a visit today, Ed Danielson.
welcome.
Welcome.
President-elect Denier, would you please introduce your guest?
Pleasure. My guest today is Susan Spica. She's Yuba's new CEO.
Welcome. And Past President, would you introduce your guest?
So my guest today is John Campoverde from the Golden Group.
Welcome.
So, I just want to
oh,
have that
go
he's a sponsor for our battles of the concert and
Awesome. Thank you very much.
the battle of the concert night.
Alan, they have to change the screen.
Busy, sorry.
And he's a really good mover if you need a room.
So in conclusion, we have 11 elected Rotarians, we have 1 visiting Rotarian, and we have 3 guests for a total of 14. No, 15. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you, Frank. And Vice President Dan, would you guide us in the welcome song?
Sure. Let's have the Lexington Rotarians stand.
You say we were singing again.
We welcome you to Lexington to meet with us today. Our door is always open to our friends in Rotary. We're glad to have you with us, and we hope you'll come again to Rotary Lexington. We all say welcome, visiting Rotarians. Welcome all you non-Rotarians. Welcome to our club in Lexington. We hope you'll come again. I couldn't get rid of that again if I like to have it on.
You would or you would?
Yeah, Dr. Do again?
I told Ed when he came today that things have not changed one bit.
Oh, that's right. All right, well, let's have some fun and happy dollars. I'm feeling pretty happy. It's a sunny day. Got all these fabulous guests. And I'm looking forward to the speaker. So let's $10 for that.
I like to give 20 happy dollars
Thank you so much.
because I'm very happy to be here.
I know, we're happy to have you. Thank you.
I have $10 happy dollars. I'm Steve here to speak to us and some guests. And it seems like a lot of people for just a few people.
Yeah, that's great.
I'd like to give $5 for singing lessons.
Might take a little more than that.
I thought we sang pretty well.
That was very
Lessons for who?
I'm sorry, I'm a writer. Lessons for whom?
I have 20 happy dollars. Wishful happy dollars. Steve Kirkland is having his second knee replacement as we speak.
He's going to be $1 million man.
He sure will be.
Sharon?
So this is like a late
fine, so maybe I need a late fee, but I'm just so appreciative of the Lexington Club and Spencer for including the Concord Club on the care packages. That was great at Ganscom. And thanks to Dan, we saw this big sign that it's an arrestable offense not having a seatbelt. I didn't have a seatbelt in the car I was in, so Dan drove me the rest of the way, so. Hopefully that covers what would have been.
Thanks, Sharon, it was a fabulous event. We were happy to partner with Concord for it. Dominic.
I don't have happy dollars, but I'm doing something different. I have hopeful dollars. Exactly 11 o'clock our time today, one of my employees, property manager, vanished 3 weeks ago. He had memory lapse and disorientation, and they've been looking for him since. So he's got 3 little girls and his wife, and he hasn't been found, so I'm giving $10 and hope to God that somebody finds him.
Two for a positive outcome.
Yeah, thanks.
I have happy hours for working with the team at Dino and for doing your announcement.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, you guys are always so generous to us, and we like being in partnership with you, and we love you here.
That's where I am. She's confirmed that.
All right.
Get 10 happy dollars here. It's been a weekend away for a photography conference. As many of you may know, I do a lot of photography work. We had a blast down there this weekend.
Cool, where did you go?
Down South Shore, Plymouth. We had a great time.
All right, now we have done.
I have 20 happy dollars. My son Ben got engaged last year, and he sent me a text over the weekend asking if I was busy October 18th to 20th. Because he's getting married on the 19th.
Wow.
Very, very excited about that.
Where?
Arrowhead, California, an hour and a half northwest of LA.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good. All right, thank you everybody for your generosity and for being so happy. We've got a few announcements today. This is just a letter of thanks that we got from the Cary Library Foundation. We did a donation of $500 for their new room that they're redoing, the children's room in the lower level. So they said thank you. And the Rotary Club of Lexington very much for your generous donation to the Cary Library. As requested, your gift will be a sponsorship of the Foundation's Take Flight Gala on April 6th in support of the Lexington Library's children's room. So that's good. We'd like to support them. And that event, I know that they're going to be announcing that soon, but that's a fun event if people want to go and do their own sponsorship of the library. We also have another announcement. Well, let's actually, why don't we talk about comedy night? Dan, would you like to give us an update on our music/comedy night?
Would I?
Yeah.
Would I? So, comedy night this year is going to go off on March 1st at Cary Hall.
This Friday.
This Friday. We're trying to still get some ticket sales generated. Not a lot of people are going to be there. We had, a little setback because we usually do this in May, and we changed venues or changed format this year, and it's a comedy / a cappella battle. So we have 4 a cappella groups from the Lexington High School who are going to compete against each other. It's a new format for us, a short period of time to try and kick it off, so we're not going to have quite what we wanted in ticket sales, but we're not going to lose any money. We're going to do it. It's going to go off on at 6:30, doors open 7 o'clock about at Cary Hall. If we can get some more tickets sold, if we can get the word out to get more tickets sold, that would help. But other than that, we've got some generous donations from members and business people in the town, which is greatly appreciated, which pushes us up over that red line. Other than that, we're on March 1, battle of the a cappella battle. What's it called?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to call it comedy night, but
Yeah,
you
right.
don't have
I
to
know.
write it
I know.
before, so. Again, a question for you. Did we tell these kids that their parents are welcome to come and to buy tickets?
Alan contacted the young lady at the high school who sent all the information out to everybody on the high school mailing list. So every parent with children in the schools got the email.
Whether they opened them or not, we don't
Whether they
know.
open them or not, that's another story. So we're gonna try and have her, we're gonna ask her
Yeah,
if she can
do it again.
today, last minute. But, yeah, we'll do it. We'll have a group, small group there, but it'll be fun. Craft food halls, Gardy's gonna take care of all the food and the booze, the beverages. So that's all taken care of. Doing a 50-50 raffle, and do a bucket raffle like we always do. So, you know, we'll get this under our wings and figure out how it's done for next year, see if we can start a little earlier and do that, so. That's it.
Okay.
See you Friday.
All right, thank you. And anybody who has any, like, sort of, you know, contact list or their business or whatever, you know, I sent the flyer out to like 1,000 of our real estate people. If anybody has a way of sending it out this week and letting them know that it's Friday, you know, if we could get, you know, 50 more people between now and then, that would make a really big difference. So put on your sales hats and sell some Rotary tickets. All right, I have one other nice thing that I would like to do. Mari, could you please come over here and stand with me for a second? So, Mari, I am honored to present to you your 6th Paul Harris Award, 5 Diamond Paul Harris Award, which is a big honor. And so this means that this is the highest honor that you can get in Rotary. So Paul Harris was the founder of Rotary, and so Mari has already been given 5 of these designations, and this is his 6th. So I'm more than
Stay still for a second, please. Megan, one more of those, please. Mari, look this way. Tilt your head slightly. Okay, good. Thank you.
So in terms of the significance of each pin represents a $1,000 donation to the Rotary Foundation. And so this 6th pin indicates that he raised $6,000 during his membership in the Rotary Foundation, which invests the money and then distributes it to a number of charitable causes for Rotary. So thank you very much for your generosity.
Thank you all. Thank you.
And I wanted to give a quote from Paul Harris that I think embodies Murray. He said, "This is a changing world. We must be prepared to change with it. The story of Rotary will have to be written again and again." And Murray's always changing. Murray's on the top of the ball.
Smile, Jason. Smile.
Thanks, everybody, too. Big surprise.
All right. Thank you so much. And with that, I am going to have Sergeant at Arms introduce our... Oh, the raffle. I always forget about the raffle. I'm going to introduce the raffle first. Okay. We have lots of fabulous gifts.
Fabulous. Blue tickets. Last 3 numbers. 276.
This is your lucky day.
Unbelievable. Okay. Next ticket. 294. 294. Come on up. Choose wisely.
Ask him for his car.
Next time. I want to get on for it.
Take the oil.
Next ticket, 280.
Yeah, Marie!
Big day.
I didn't get 2 tickets.
I want to thank Sharon for this.
Nice choice. Excellent. Excellent choice. Thank you. Last, but certainly not least, 801.
Susan, I think that this has your name on it.
Yay, Susan!
Congratulations.
You didn't know it, but you won.
Don't get up, we'll deliver.
The numbers are printed correctly.
Sure. All right. So, yes, thank you. Hang on. Using technology is a dangerous thing for me. All right, first of all, those of you who don't know, these are folks from the Minuteman High School. Do we have basketball players? Basketball fans, basketball coaches?
All right.
Welcome, thanks for coming down. And the reason you came down, we have a special guest today, Steve Bulpett, yet again. And we are happy that he has graced us a couple of times. Steve is a good friend of mine, and I appreciate his showing up. Anyway, Steve is an NBA columnist at heavyonsports.com, I believe. Heavy.com, just heavy.com. If you want to read his stuff, that's where he's at. Been covering the Celtics and the NBA since 1985. And if you have to figure that out,
I started when I was 7.
that's it. He has the AP National Top 10 Honors columnist, beat writer features, and he's a very, very good writer. I actually read his stuff. I don't read anything.
You're the one.
But I appreciate him being here. So, Steve, you're up.
Such a good friend, they have to look up this stuff.
I never have to introduce you.
Easiest place to find my junk is my dribble. Is it start with Twitter, X, whatever, at Steve Eaton. Link to all the stuff there. I'm going to talk to these guys here a little bit if I can.
Yeah.
So, the guys, you got a game tonight. The girls got a game tomorrow night. Which, that's your first lesson. Always do your homework. You guys have the opportunity now to be one of the best things there is in life. You get to be a teammate now. And I'm telling you, this is so cool. It's something you will think about all your life when you stop playing sports, when you're just, a bunch of people hanging out and doing good for the community. You're going to think about the teams you were on and the teammates you had. And years from now, when you walk into a room or you're in a restaurant and one of your ex-teammates comes in and you guys make eye contact, you're going to know which one of you was doing everything that he or she could for the team, which one of you wasn't. And right now, you get to decide how you want your other teammates or how you want your friends to look at you. You get to decide if you're going to be a good teammate. Over all the years covering the NBA, I've learned a couple things. And it's that the teams that win are the teams where the players take ownership, where players play for each other, where the last thing you would ever think about doing is letting down the person next to you. And if you look at it that way, and you're there for each other, if you're just playing for yourself, you'll work hard at a certain point. Everybody does. But if you realize that your teammates are counting on you, you don't want to let them down, and you know that they would never let you down, you'll work harder in practice, you'll work harder in the classroom, you'll work harder in the weight room, training to get better, and you'll support each other more on the floor. Teams that win have players that buy into their roles, and perhaps even more important, or just as important, is the people that do the little things okay? You set a pick, and you seal off the person, and she drives in for a layup. She passes you the ball, she gets the assist, she gets the bucket. Who scored the points? It's the person that made the seal here, right? So your teammates, the people on the bench, your coaches, celebrate that. Celebrate the little things, and that's what creates winning. Okay? Should have a pedestal here, I'm just yakking at you guys, so I apologize. But this is important, and trust me, I switched to Celsius, so I'm 18.8 years old now. But trust me, you'll still think about and have dreams about, years later, about when you were playing ball. One of the worst days of my life was when I was in college and I realized it stops here. I was at the University of Dayton, and the two guys ahead, I was a point guard, the two guys ahead of me both played in the NBA. I won't talk about the 7 guys between me and them. I'll leave that part out. I get to do that because I'm a Rotary. But seriously, I remember when it stopped. And you think about, well, what if I'd have done this? What if I'd have done that? Put in the work. I'm sure you've had teachers and whomever tell you, don't be playing so much ball. Pay attention to hey, look, play as much as you can. All right? When you're within these walls, study your brains out. Just pay attention. The reason I get to do what I do now, and sound like a jerk for a second. Oh, okay, more of a jerk than usual. I'm from West Lynn. I got to go to high school in Swampscott. I've seen the freaking world, and I've traveled all around the country because of basketball. I went to college to be a lawyer and try to play basketball. I fell into journalism. I had a teacher at high school, Swampscott High, Mrs. Anderson. She was a grammar teacher. Each mistake was a letter grade off. So when I got dared to write a story for my school paper at college, I knew where the commas went. Okay? Everything is communication. Know your stuff. So because I paid attention while I was within the walls of Swampscott High School, and it was such a monument to me, they tore the place down, I got to do what I'm doing, all right? And I got to be involved with basketball in a way that my dribbling never could have. So pay attention, do your stuff here, work hard, all that fun stuff. But trust me when I tell you, you get to decide your own stuff now. I'll tell you one quick story. A few years ago, the Warriors came into town, and I was going over on their off day, the day before the game, to write a story, write a column about Steph Curry. As a side note, I think they play tomorrow night. I went to Dayton, Steph went to Davidson. We have a standing $5 bet whenever Dayton plays Davidson. So if Dayton wins tomorrow night, you can look up Steph Curry's salary and subtract $5. I told him he's my retirement plan. Anyway, after this practice, we talked to the coaches and stuff. This is after practice now. Steph's still out and shooting 3-pointers. 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5 around the 3-point arc, back and forth, and back and forth. So he finishes, comes over with you and I, argue about college basketball. We talk for a bit. I get in the story. He's walking away. I said, Steph, by the way, how many shots did you just get up after practice? He said, 250. He'd flown from Indianapolis the night before. He's the best shooter in the history of basketball. He didn't forget how to shoot on the flight from Indianapolis to Boston. There was no mental time zone he went through and erased his memory. He makes shots because it's called earned confidence. And you know if you put the work in and if you don't. Karma's a real thing because it's subconscious, right? So if Steph Curry's getting up 250 after practice, I'm going to ask what you think you guys need to do. You want to get good? It's a really simple route. Yeah, that's the other thing. I wanted to let you know a couple of those things. I think I've rattled enough about that. If I preached enough to you guys, and tired of hearing it. Coach, anything else? You think?
No? Perfect.
Everything that they needed to hear. Big game tonight, right, guys?
Questions?
And girls?
I'm sorry. I forgot about that. And you need to work on your jumper.
Well, Murray, not bad.
249 more, Gary.
I
I'm
know there are-
sorry for ignoring that.
I know in the NBA, there are a lot of great coaches. And who would be amongst the great, at halftime, when they go into the locker room, who would be, in your mind, maybe one of the greatest coaches at locker room time to get his team going, especially if they were having a bad half in the first half?
Well, it's a little bit different in the NBA because, well, playoffs is one thing, but you've got 82 regular season games. So you can't wear people out. Basically, all you're doing at halftime is pointing out where they get screwed up with execution in the first half, maybe what adjustments you're going to make. If some guy on the other team is shooting really hot, we're going to start sending a double team toward that person. It's not really rah-rah stuff. I can tell you, my college, at my school, the guy who's coaching there now, really good. And I remember one time, he and I talked about it, and I think he used it at halftime once. They were underperforming, and they were getting deflated by, they missed a few shots and these things here. Another team was starting to play really well, and it was giving them confidence. And I said, look, just ask them how long they're going to let the other team kick sand in their face before they do something about it. So, yeah, I mean, there's no real, there are good technicians, but it kind of goes back to whether the team wants to get together. That's what really ends up pulling it off. But you can make good adjustments, sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have any questions, don't be shy, please. So, I have a question. So, speaking about great coaches, I think the greatest coach was Red Auerbach. And Steve, you knew Red very well. What's your favorite moment?
You can also say he was the greatest coach / general manager, because he created some of the greatest trades and player acquisitions in the history of the game.
Sure, absolutely. My favorite Red Auerbach story, it's personal. So a billion years ago,
We won't tell anybody, don't worry.
A billion years ago, they had this it was an all-star type game for the NBL, all right, Boston Neighborhood Basketball League. And we're playing out in the city, and there was a bunch of people there, and the big deal was that Red Auerbach was going to be there. So we're playing, and I'm, this is the Pistol Pete Maravich days, and I'm on it. So we're playing, and a bunch of new people you're playing with, but I get the ball in the backcourt. I see one of my teammates filling a lane, running on a fast break, and I got some trouble over here, but I throw behind the back pass. I mean, this was sweet. Hits him in the hands, clunk, out of bounds. And I never showed up a teammate, but I must not have, I don't know if I was like, I don't know, I was probably screaming internally, but I swear I didn't say anything or show him up. About a minute later, it's halftime, we're going off the court, and I feel someone grab my arm as I go off the court. I turn, it's Red. And he goes, "It's only a good pass if he catches it." The point being, you have to know whether that guy is capable of, whether he has hands of granite or whether he can catch the thing. And you have to make, it's on you to make that happen. So that's my Red Auerbach story. Well, in basketball terms, Red was kind of viewed around the league as a bully. The cigar thing was, at the end of games was kind of blowing smoke at the other team and stuff like that. The funny thing is, you guys remember, the old Boston Garden had 1,000 problems to it. And
More than that.
And
Well, we loved it.
I've had still, even last weekend, I was covering All-Star out in Indianapolis. And I had guys who played years ago talking about going to the garden. Yeah, the water was cold in the showers, and the room was so hot in the playoffs, the locker room was so hot. And here was Red's genius. The water was cold in the Celtics locker room too. And it was hot in the Celtics locker room in the playoffs. Kevin McKay used to take a broken hockey stick and open the windows up that, led out to outside. But Red's, his genius was, he never told anybody that. He just let them think he was messing with them. So they were, oh, this guy's out again. And they were thinking about that, not realizing, no, you're just losing at a basketball game because the other team might be better than you are.
Cool. Well, any other questions? Don't all jump up at once. Ma'am?
What's like the greatest lesson that you've learned while playing basketball?
Don't pass to the guy with the stone hands. The greatest lesson, to be honest, and sometimes it's something you don't realize in the moment. And that's why I'm kind of like barking at you guys, because you're living in the moment. Everyone tells you live in the moment. But occasionally, sometimes sit back and think, 10 years from now, how do I want to look back at this time? You guys got a game tonight. Win, lose, whatever. How do you want to look back at this night? How do you want to look back at how you played, what you gave to that game? So the idea of being a teammate and working as part of something, that's the stuff I love the most. Right now that I've got people telling me I should do a podcast, I should do a newsletter, and just take a couple bucks from people, per month or something like that, and I could make a ton. And it's like, no, I like working with a group of people, and what should we be working on next? Learning how to work within a group, no matter what you do later, you're going to need to do that. And being the good teammate basically means empathy. It means opening up and saying, okay, what do you think? And, how can we work together? One thing I'll tell you, and I just was out at my school speaking last week, with social media now, everyone's told you, I'll be the billionth person that tells you, watch what you put on social media, because no matter what, your college, your job opportunities, people they're gonna find that stuff. When you guys are doing extra practice, like working after practice, doing a community service project or something like that, or just like doing a lab stuff where you're like late after school and a bunch of you are working on something, take a picture of that, put that on your social media. May look corny at the time and say, oh, what? But if people are going to find the bad stuff, make sure they find the good stuff. Okay, let's open up this person's Instagram. Let's see what they've got in here. Oh, look, here doing a service project in town, working with the Rotary or something like that at a race or whatever. A volunteering here or there, doing a lab report, working into the night with friends to do something, improving something in their neighborhood. That's the stuff that's going to, I want this person here. Schools, right? Your schools that you're going to apply to, or jobs, whatever program you're going to go into, they're going to look at that stuff. So that's kind of what you learn. I wish I could tell you that I knew all this stuff then what I know now. I did. I'm here as a product of all of my mistakes. But I got a free lunch out of it, so.
Anybody else?
When you first got into the writing and the sports reporting, was it tough to get the players to talk to you initially? Or obviously you've earned the respect of a lot of players in the last 40 years that you started doing this at 9 years old. But it's, it's not like you could just walk up and
Yeah, basically, when you're covering the team, I started out covering, and you basically live with those guys. Back then, they flew commercial too, so you're on the same flights. Players expect you to respect them because, hey, they're NBA players, they've accomplished this, that, whatever. Sure, you respect that. Make them respect you for how hard you work, know your stuff, and be fair. Like, you can nail a guy if he screws up. And sometimes guys will be unhappy with the next day's paper. But over time, those are the people that I've ended up working with the best over the years. So yeah, just, you walk up, you try to find something else to talk about than just basketball. You don't just talk to them when you're shoving a recorder in their face and asking them a question about the game. You talk about other things. And you create those kind of business relationships that allow you to, it's what gets them, after they finish with their media session, you're able to pull them aside and get something that the other paper doesn't have, or that no one else covering the NBA has, that gives your outlet something special. And that's how like, they pay me now, not because I'm any good at what I do, but because of the contacts I make. So that's just basically developing relationships with people. And again, making sure that they know that you're working hard, and just part of that.
One last question. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. So, the Celtics are having a modicum of success nowadays. What do you think? What do you think their chances are of winning? What do they have to do to win this whole thing?
Play as a team.
I think there's one team that they should be most afraid of, that can really, the team that can, it's most likely to beat the Celtics, based on what we've seen over the last handful of years, is the Celtics.
Yeah, you're right.
In 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 was weird. 2022, the finals against the Warriors, and last year, they lost for one reason. At crunch time, the end of games, they would revert to hero ball. And it's not because guys were jerks about it. It's like, okay, give me the ball, I need to go make a play. That's really gallant of you, and maybe sometimes it works. But congratulations, you've just taken your team out of your offense. If the Celtics, the team they have now, if these Celtics move the ball, keep it moving, make the defense move, make the defense get out of position, these Celtics are unguardable. They've got too much talent, they have too much ability to space the floor. They can beat you in 1,000 different ways. If they dig defense and they move the ball offensively, there are some teams that will give them a hard time, particularly out west. Don't sleep on the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is better than people realize. And last year's champions, the Denver Nuggets, why were they so good? Their best player is their big guy, and he's passing the ball. They're playing as a team. That's the stuff that wins. But yeah, if the Celtics can avoid doing that, they've only shown some glimpses of falling back into that a couple times this year, but it's theirs to win and it's theirs to lose.
Oh, in regards to what you were just saying, I was reading in the Globe today that Jason Tatum's scoring, his scoring average is lower than it was last year. And it specifically said he doesn't care that much, he's playing team ball. He wants to win more than anything else. Bottom line. That's what it comes down to. I go back to the first dynasty, the Russell, Cousy. I remember 1969, Russell last year, Sam Jones last year. They came in 4th place that year, in the college, okay? They did enough to get into the playoffs. I was in the cafeteria, and all these kids are in here, whatever, and they're all, oh, the Lakers, now Lakers had a quiet Chamberlain. Okay? They were the most talented team by far, by far. They had Quiet Chamberlain, Lakers were going to run away with it, this was going to run away with it, this was going to... Finally got some guys. Let me tell you something. The Celtics are going to win. Oh, they're too old. The this is what's gonna happen. And in those days, there was only a certain amount of teams in the playoff. Philly in 5, New York in 6, LA in 7. They all thought I was nuts. They were all looking at me, put your money where your mouth is. No problem. Okay? Philly in 5, New York in 6. Now they go up against the Lakers, who had a heck of a lot more talent than them. They had Elgin Baylor, they still had Baylor, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich were the guards, Chamberlain was the starting center. I don't remember the other front, okay, but they had a lot more talent. The point being, it was Russell's and oh, I lost his name. They were going to retire at the end of that. They won.
Sam Jones.
Who? Sam Jones, thank you. See, matter of fact, I met him personally in my trip. Tremendous gentleman. They wanted it more. They wanted it more. Game 7 was in Ken Cook Forum in LA. They had balloons in the ceiling. The balloons are still there. Never came down. It was team play.
But here, well, to tell the story a little bit, to amplify, Game 7, Lakers, Celtics, I was not covered. I was in elementary school. There were balloons up in the top of the forum. They were going to release them when the Lakers won. There was mimeographed or copied off pieces of paper that said what's going to happen when the Lakers win. The band's going to play this is what's going to happen, this whatever. And the Celtics got a hold of this piece of paper, walked into the locker room and said, here's what they got planned for
That I
us.
didn't know.
So it's like, you know, and it still required like some weird Don Nelson shot hitting the button and going up and coming down. All those things, yeah. But you said one thing that I kind of do want to talk about briefly, is you said you bet.
I wasn't going to, but then when they
No,
pushed it,
no, I'm going to talk about what's going on now.
it was kind of great. I
Now
had
that
a
betting
voice.
is legal, okay? And I'm kind of talking to you guys, but I'm talking over here as well, and to people that you know and your families and whatever. If you're talking about putting $1 or $2 on something to have a little more fun and you can afford that, fine. But if you think you're going to do these DraftKings and FanDuel and all this stuff, and you think you're going to make money off it, remember the dorky boy here telling you you're not.
The house wins.
Okay?
That's always wins.
If we're talking about basketball here, the more you know, the more you realize how many different things can impact your bet. So hopefully you guys aren't into this stuff, and hopefully you won't get into it, and hopefully you guys will tell your people and your families and whatever. But you have, okay, Celtics play tomorrow night against Philly. I'm going to go to the game, and I'm going to be talking to the coach, Nick Nurse. I'm going to be talking to his assistants, people I know. There's going to be scouts there from other teams that are, you know, scouting players, whatever. And I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to hang out with them. They're people I've gotten to know over the years. When it comes to basketball in the NBA, not because I'm smart or anything, but I just want to tell you, I know more than you do when it comes to NBA stuff and what could possibly happen. And I'm telling you, there is no way I would come within 5 miles or let FanDuel or whatever come within 5 miles of my wallet. Because I just know how many weird things can happen that can affect the spread of a game. So-and-so had a bad day personally, things that I might know about, but I'm not sure how it's going to impact his game. Stay away from that stuff. Bet, you know, I guess I have told you about bet now because Steph Curry, $5. I can afford the $5. Fortunately, because of the great University of Dayton, I don't have to afford the $5.
So,
And it's for bragging rights, really. Sorry.
She's so dope, but Caitlin Clark, she's done so much in the last 8 months for women's college basketball inside of the Huskies. What's your take on what's
I think
happening?
it's like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's just,
Crystal Pete's not allowed to see what was going on.
well, but they should be comparing her to Lynette Woodard, where they don't count her because it was before the NCAA took over.
Yeah.
And, you know, anyway, when I was younger, women in sports weren't a cool thing, okay? And it was like, women, no, you don't wanna run around and sweat. There are so many, Title IX was a big thing, but there are so many opportunities now for women to get out and be athletic. Everybody should be athletic. I don't care whether you're into sports or not. Everybody should be getting out, and I don't care what age you are, running around and staying healthy. Okay, that's what it's about in the long run. But just the opportunity, the best part of All-Star Weekend certainly wasn't the game on Sunday. But the best part of All-Star Weekend, hands down, was what? Over here, who's going to tell me what the best part of All-Star Weekend was?
Three-point contest, the three-point contest.
Which one?
Steph Curry against
Sabrina
Sabrina.
Ionescu. Bingo. You can have a cookie. That was the coolest thing, you know? But you can have one before, you know? You couldn't have-
Right, everybody can have a cookie, there's a bunch there. All right, Stephen.
That's the thing, you know, it's like having the opportunity and being able to get out there and do your stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, that means we're going to go $15 to Steve. So Steve, why don't you get against that wall? If you want to, not ring the bell yet, give me 2 seconds. We should have one more raffle to do. This will only take 30 seconds, then I'd like to get a picture of all the students.
Does he have a plaque or something? Somebody's gonna say it.
Enough potatoes.
So Steve, hang on for a couple minutes. If you guys can.
All right, guys, we're gonna do the 50-50 raffle, and if you guys don't mind hanging out for a bit, we're gonna take a picture.
So let's see. You'd like to get a picture? Go for it. And you go back to class. It's $20. Red tickets. Purple.